Welcome to our channel, dear listeners. Today, we begin the powerful and unforgettable story of one of the greatest figures in human history, a man whose ambition reshaped a republic, whose courage shook continents, and whose name would echo for more than 2,000 years. This is not just the story of a general or a politician. This is the extraordinary journey of Julius Caesar, a man who transformed Rome and changed the destiny of the world forever. He was born on the 12th or 13th of July in the year 100 BCE in the bustling city of Rome. His full name was Gaius Julius Caesar. At the time of his birth, no one could have imagined that this child would one day stand at the center of history. He was born into an ancient patrician family known as the Julii. This noble clan proudly claimed descent from Aeolus, the son of Aeneas, who in Roman legend was the child of the goddess Venus. Whether myth or reality, this divine connection strengthened the family's prestige and gave young Caesar a powerful sense of destiny. Although his family was noble, they were not the richest or most dominant in Rome. His father, also named Gaius Julius Caesar, served as a magistrate, while his mother, Aurelia, was known for her intelligence, discipline, and strong character. She carefully supervised his son's education and shaped his early development. From childhood, Caesar showed signs of ambition and confidence. He studied rhetoric, literature, and philosophy, learning how to speak with clarity and persuade audiences with emotion and logic. These skills would later become weapons as powerful as any sword. When Caesar was only 16, tragedy struck. His father died suddenly, leaving the young boy as the head of the household. Responsibility came early. But greater dangers were waiting. Rome at that time was torn apart by political violence. A ruthless dictator named Sulla seized control of the city after a brutal civil war. Because Caesar's family had connections to Sulla's enemies, his life was in danger. Sulla ordered him to divorce his young wife Cornelia, whose father had opposed him. Caesar refused. It was a dangerous decision. Refusing a dictator could mean death. Sulla stripped him of his priesthood and confiscated part of his inheritance. Caesar went into hiding, constantly moving from place to place. Friends and relatives eventually convinced Sulla to spare his life. According to later stories, Sulla warned those around him that in this young man there were many Mariuses, predicting that Caesar would one day become even more dangerous than his famous uncle by marriage, Gaius Marius. With Rome unsafe, Caesar left Italy and joined the army in Asia Minor. There he proved himself courageous in battle and earned the civic crown for saving a fellow soldier's life. Even in his early 20s, he showed calm leadership under pressure. One of the most famous stories from his youth occurred during a sea voyage. Pirates captured him and demanded ransom. Instead of acting frightened, Caesar laughed at them. When they asked for 20 talents of silver, he insisted they demand 50, claiming he was worth much more. During his captivity, he treated the pirates as if he were their commander rather than their prisoner. He even warned them that once released, he would return and punish them. They thought he was joking. He was not. After gaining his freedom, he raised a small fleet, hunted them down, and had them executed. It was a clear sign of his character, bold, fearless, and unforgiving. Returning to Rome, Caesar began climbing the political ladder. He served as quaestor, then aedile, organizing magnificent public games. Although he went deeply into debt to finance these spectacles, he won the love of the people. He understood something important. Political power in Rome depended not only on noble birth, but on popular support. His ambition continued to grow. In 63 BCE, he ran for the position of Pontificus Maximus, the chief priest of Rome. Despite facing powerful opponents, he won. The victory surprised many and confirmed his rising influence. That same year, Rome faced the Catiline conspiracy, a plot to overthrow the government. Caesar argued against executing the conspirators without trial, presenting himself as a defender of law and tradition, though his enemies remained suspicious of his motives. Soon afterward, he governed the province of Hispania Ulterior in Spain. There he demonstrated military skill, conquering rebellious tribes and securing wealth to repay his debts. Upon returning to Rome, he faced a critical choice: celebrate a triumph for his victories or run for consul. He chose political power. In 60 BCE, Caesar formed a powerful political alliance with Pompey and Crassus. This unofficial partnership, known today as the First Triumvirate, united wealth, military fame, and ambition. With their support, Caesar became consul in 59 BCE. After his consulship, he secured command of Gaul, a vast region covering modern France and parts of Belgium and Germany. What followed would change his life forever. For nearly 8 years, Caesar led campaigns in the Gallic Wars. He defeated powerful tribal coalitions, built bridges across the Rhine to intimidate Germanic tribes, and even launched expeditions to Britain. His most dramatic victory came at the Siege of Alesia, where he trapped the Gallic leader Vercingetorix between two Roman walls, one facing the city and another facing approaching reinforcements. Against overwhelming odds, Caesar triumphed. By the end of the Gallic Wars, Rome's territory had expanded enormously, and Caesar had become incredibly wealthy and beloved by his soldiers. However, his growing power frightened the Senate. His alliance with Pompey had collapsed, especially after Crassus died in battle. Pompey aligned himself with conservative senators who demanded that Caesar give up his command and return to Rome as a private citizen. Caesar knew that without his army, he would face prosecution or worse. In 49 BCE, he made a decision that would echo through history. He crossed the Rubicon River with his legion, declaring that the die was cast. This act began a civil war. The conflict ended with Caesar victorious. Pompey fled to Egypt, where he was assassinated. When Caesar arrived in Egypt, he became involved in a political struggle between royal siblings. There he met Cleopatra VII, the young and ambitious queen. Their alliance soon became romantic. Caesar supported Cleopatra's claim to the throne, and she later bore him a son, known as Caesarion. Returning to Rome, Caesar emerged as the supreme leader. He was declared dictator multiple times, and eventually named dictator for life. He launched ambitious reforms, reorganizing debt laws, granting citizenship to many communities, settling veterans in colonies, and introducing the Julian calendar, a system so accurate that it influenced the calendar we use today. But as his power grew, so did fear. Many senators believed he intended to become king, a title Romans despised. Statues were erected in his honor. He wore distinctive robes. During a public festival, his ally Mark Antony offered him a crown, which he dramatically refused. Yet suspicion remained. A group of senators, including Brutus and Cassius, conspired against him. They believed killing Caesar would restore the Republic. On March 15th, 44 BCE, the Ides of March, Caesar entered the Senate chamber. Despite warnings and bad omens, he ignored the danger. The conspirators surrounded him and attacked. He was stabbed 23 times. According to tradition, when he saw Brutus among them, he uttered the famous words, "Et tu, Brute?" Then he fell. But his death did not save the Republic. Instead, it triggered another series of civil wars. His adopted heir, Octavian, later known as Augustus, eventually defeated all rivals and established the Roman Empire. The Republic was gone forever. In the end, Julius Caesar was more than a conqueror. He was a reformer, a writer, a visionary, and a symbol of transformation. His name became a title for emperors: Caesar, Kaiser, Czar. His life reminds us that ambition can build empires, but it can also inspire fear. His story is one of brilliance and tragedy, courage and controversy. And even today, more than 2,000 years later, the name Julius Caesar still commands attention, a name written permanently into the story of civilization.